Okay, let's talk about Ape Canyon. This time of year, mid-June, I start getting super antsy to get up on top of a cascade mountain, but we still have like a month and a half before we can actually get up on top of a mountain like we want to. Fortunately for us, we do live in the Pacific Northwest, so we have a lot of options to explore. One of the reasons this spot is special is that it's actually accessible via paved road. Forest Road 83 runs right there, and it was opened by June 6th with no snow on the road. Regardless of how you feel about Bigfoot, you're going to run into some of the lore and the naming of the places around the region. Ape Canyon got its name from a supposed 1924 incident. A group of gold miners were camped out in the Gifford Pinchot region, and they supposedly ran into several large, hairy, ape-like men. One of the gold miners said he shot one of these giant creatures 3 times with his rifle, sending it toppling into the canyon below. The ape men returned and attacked with giant boulders. The next day they were gone, and the miners went to go tell the Forest Service, who sent out a couple of rangers to investigate. They scrambled down this supposedly inaccessible canyon and found nothing. Anyway, who knows what makes a name stick, but there you have it, Ape Canyon. Right before we get to the Ape Canyon trailhead, we drive past an overlook of the muddy river Lahar, the remnants of a volcanic mudflow set off by the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption. The Ape Canyon hike itself mostly follows a ridge that's right next to this muddy river Lahar, and you keep getting crazy glances over to this direction as you're going through this beautiful old-growth forest on a ridge. It's a pretty neat contrast. This trail goes through beautiful old growth, silver firs, western red cedar, and more. It's a pretty gentle elevation gain at first, and you start getting gaps in the trees pretty quickly where you see the massive face of St. Helens just in front of you. The trail eventually has a few switchbacks, you keep going up, and the woods open up a bit more. You start seeing views of Mount Adams, which is really close looking, and eventually you get to the top of the ridge where things open up and you can see all around. As soon as you've made it to the higher ground, you're immediately rewarded with the Ape Canyon viewpoint. Walking onto this little promontory gives you a killer view right down into Ape Canyon, with Mount Adams looming in the background, some crazy rock formations to the back of you, along with the entire south face of Mount St. Helens. Shortly after that, the Ape Canyon Trail meets up with the Lewitt Trail, which is the 30-mile trail going all the way around Mount St. Helens. Lewitt is the indigenous name for Mount St. Helens. In the summer, you could just go ahead and do that, but for now it's just covered with snow. There are some side connector paths that lead up right here to some campsites that have great views, very exposed, so you gotta know what you're doing if you're gonna stay there, but good early season camping options. For most of us though, it's just going to be a really good lunch overlook hangout point for a second before we head back down the way we came. In terms of just bang for your buck and ease versus views and being up and getting that mountain vibe, this is one of the trails I would recommend for early to mid-June. And now, here's a little trail tune to help you remember Ape Canyon.
South Mount St. Helens, take that old growth stroll to the top of the ridge. 10 miles on an active volcano, I swear that I'll be back here again. Here and Adams hanging out like your neighbors, you're looking across dark divide. 5 miles in, you hit the Lewitt Trail. It's under snow till mid-July. So drive me down the winding 503. In early June, it's where I wanna be. Drive me down the winding 503. Ape Canyon is the place I wanna be. You're walking right next to a volcanic mudflow. It's called the Muddy River Lahar. 2,400 feet of elevation gain. This trail's not too crazy hard, so drive me down the winding 503. In early June is where I wanna be. drive me down the winding 503. Ape Canyon is the place I wanna be. There's a good road right to the trailhead. It's paved the whole way there. There can be potholes and rock slides, so make sure that you take care when you drive me down the winding 503. Early June, it's where I wanna be. Drive me down the winding 503. Ape Canyon is the place I wanna be.